The Rosewood Hong Kong. This property only opened in 2019, but by October 2025, it was named the #1 hotel in the world by the world's 50 best hotels list. It rises a whopping 270 metres above Victoria Harbour, has 11 culinary destinations housed within it, is home to a world-class museum's worth of art, and has one of the best club lounges I've ever set foot in. I stayed here for 2 nights in a room with a harbour view, private balcony and club access, costing just over 1k a night. So here's the honest review: the best hotel in the world. Is it actually worth it? Our room was a Club Grand Harbour Balcony Room King. Quite a mouthful, and it cost just over £2,000 for 2 nights. The room itself was 53 square metres, generous for Hong Kong, but honestly, the balcony is the whole point. 11 square metres, or 124 square foot, of private outdoor space hanging over Victoria Harbour for those oh-so-amazing panoramic views. While yes, it is perfectly positioned to watch the fireworks, which by the way we unfortunately missed, I actually just loved coming out here to watch the boats, the changing colours at sunset, the twinkling lights of the city. Stepping out onto the balcony felt magical every time, because this view is everything, and I really did think that it was worth the extra money. Inside the room, it felt like classic Rosewood, that collected over a lifetime look, art and objects everywhere, nothing that feels like it's just off a shelf. The bed was supremely comfortable with the standard luxury linens and pillow selection on offer, and the room had plenty of space to live in while you were here. So no complaints, but nothing majorly wow either, like for example the butler at Raffles that you may have seen in my previous review. The standout room was the marble bathroom. I don't believe I have ever seen that many mirrors in one space, and so it definitely felt very aesthetic. Was I particularly comfortable seeing myself at every possible angle every time I walked into the room? Maybe not, but it was fun and great for inspecting outfits. The shower was enormous and the robes were super fluffy, but minus points for water temperature. It did take quite a while to get warm. Speaking of outfits, I thought that the wardrobe space was perfect for us because we were only staying there for 2 nights. But if I had been staying longer, I would possibly have struggled a bit with the space. So one to think about if, like me, you're a chronic overpacker. And the detail that matters: this is a club room which unlocks the Manor Club on the 40th floor. Hold that thought because it changes your whole stay. What sets Rosewood apart from most luxury hotels is that it actually doesn't feel like a hotel. It feels like a very rich, very tasteful private home that happens to have 400 rooms and 11 restaurants and bars. A huge part of that feeling is the art. The family who owns the Rosewood collects all the pieces, and they are everywhere. Not decoration, but an actual collection that you could spend an afternoon with. Your first impressions with this are immediately set on entrance in the lobby, where you are greeted by an immense and beautiful sculpture welcoming you home. Off the lobby are various rooms, again beautifully decorated with artwork and objets d'art to catch your eye, as well as the main dining room where you'll eat breakfast. More on this later. One standout spot in the hotel for me was the gym, which I visited for a sunrise workout. It was well sized, with plenty of equipment both on the gym floor and in the changing rooms, where you could indulge in a cold plunge or a warm jacuzzi, whilst looking out to those beautiful harbour views again. Bliss. After that workout, it was time to sample the breakfast buffet, one of my favourite parts of any hotel stay. Breakfast is served at Holt's Cafe, just off the lobby, and it had a good range of breakfast foods that spanned the East meets West range. A proper dim sum and congee station alongside the usual Western classics. I so enjoy these buffets because you can usually get away with having the most eclectic plate of food, which of course I did. Everything here was delicious and done really well, and it would rank in my not at all scientific ranking of my top 5 breakfast buffets I've ever eaten at. After a day of sightseeing and relaxation, and with 11 dining destinations at the Rosewood Hong Kong to choose from, we had to make a stop for dinner in our hotel. We chose the Legacy House, a 1-Michelin-star Cantonese restaurant helmed by the wonderful executive chef Li Chi-Wai, which specialises in specifically Guangdong cuisine, which is the home region of the Cheng family who own the hotel, and was specifically chosen to honour their family heritage. We didn't end up trying the tasting menu, but instead we decided to have a selection of the chef's recommendations, including the deep-fried spicy beef and the wok-fried shredded lobster. Again, like breakfast, the food was exceptionally well done and well presented, the service was impeccable, and the vibes were immaculate. This was a fabulous night from start to finish, and I highly recommend the Legacy House if you're staying at the Rosewood, or even if you're not. Okay, now to the Manor Club. If you only take one thing from this video, it's this. The club, which is on the 40th floor, with a wraparound view of the entire harbour, is genuinely rated as one of the best hotel club lounges in the world, and having been in a lot of them, it deserves it. You get 3 complimentary spreads a day: breakfast from 7 to 11 AM, afternoon tea from 2 to 4, and then evening canapés from 5 to 8 PM. And the food isn't airport lounge food. No, it's pulled from the hotel's restaurants, the Michelin-starred ones included, and it really is delicious. Beyond the food, 2 other reasons to enjoy. The first, if you get club access, this is also where they bring you for your private check-in on arrival, so you get to skip the lobby entirely. It also means that during your stay, you get complimentary express laundry and shoe care. 2, if you have a later flight, like we did, this place was a great oasis to spend time in while you're waiting to leave. You can check out from up here as well, and enjoy the amenities until you leave, like the games room, or for business people, the boardroom. My recommendation? A club room costs more, but the experience felt so worth it. It is one of my highest recommendations for staying at the Rosewood Hong Kong. So, is Rosewood Hong Kong worth it? Honestly, I would say maybe. On the one hand, the 2 extras that we paid for, Manor Club access and the harbour view, more than paid their way. We really enjoyed both these things immensely and would absolutely pay for them again. The vibes in the Rosewood were also immaculate. If you're someone who appreciates art and design, staying here feels like you are surrounded by the best of taste, beauty and culture, which I definitely appreciated. However, on the other hand, I do think that a couple of snags in the room brought the scores down a little bit for me. There was the water temperature issues, and if I was being harsh, the wardrobe would have been tight for a longer stay for somebody who really enjoys the clothes and shopping. I also would have loved to have seen something more memorable. For example, at Raffles, the butler brings you a selection of chocolates on arrival, which is now just a detail that's burnt into my mind forevermore, and which felt missing at Rosewood, that extra little something, that extra little bit of magic. So for me, the best hotel in the world should absolutely nail the basics and then add that little sprinkle on top. Rosewood didn't quite meet that bar, so I will say that I was left thinking that it may not have quite deserved the title. But overall, I did really enjoy our stay, and if I wasn't judging it based on being the #1 hotel in the world, I'd probably give a less harsh verdict. Well, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear what you think, or if there are any more details that you'd like to hear more about. And please subscribe, there's more coming soon from my 3-week Asia Odyssey.